everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
To the tragic case of Nolan Wells and the continued unanswered questions. Yesterday, we told you about newly released audio that the boat Wells was on broke down and needed assistance. That call came in around 4:30 p.m. And while, according to the Wells family and their attorney, Ben Crump, the teen was last seen on the island around 3 p.m. And they insist that they don't believe their son would intentionally stay behind on his own. Wells' mother, Christine Wansley, turned to social media and shared video of how she's dealing with the loss of her son. Watch.
This loss, this grief, this pain, it's different. It's insurmountable. And then it's like you get these flood of emotions all at different times, and grief is so multi-layered. You know, one second I might be okay and I can talk about things and I can listen to his stories, and then the next minute I am falling apart and I feel like I can't breathe, and I feel like there is an elephant just sitting on my chest.
Just absolutely heartbreaking for the family. We hope we can get them some answers too. Joining me now and soon. Joining me now is Revolt News Chief Political Correspondent Teslin Figaro and former police officer and host of the Officer Tatum show, Brandon Tatum. Great to see both of you. Thanks for being here. So, Brandon, let's start with you. Just from a law enforcement perspective, what do you make of the timeline, the lack of answers, what maybe occurred here?
Well, I think the first thing is that these activists came in and brought in information or lies about circumstances to make people question. The law enforcement officers have already done an autopsy. They've already investigated. There's no sign of foul play. And one thing that's very interesting that I just found out recently is that it wasn't a situation where you have Nolan Wells and 4 of the kids at an island. There's thousands of people there. There's hundreds of different boats. So him staying behind while some of his other friends went back to the mainland wasn't that suspicious. I really wish that the family would focus on Nolan Wells' life, focus on the investigation, and let the police do their job instead of interjecting race into this situation. And it's completely unnecessary to be there at this point.
So, Teslin, you've worked with Ben Crump. You have valuable insight into how he operates. You're not speaking for him tonight, but what do you think about the timeline and whether it determines whether Nolan was still alive before the boat left the island, like his friends insist?
Yeah, thank you, Katie. I'm speaking as a mom, of a 19-year-old. In the same way Officer Tatum wishes that people would not insert lies, I wish Officer Tatum would allow the investigation, the independent investigation, to run its course. You don't know, Mr. Tatum, what has been talked about in this investigation. It has not been complete, and people have not came forward to say what happened with Nolan Wells. So I actually do believe his parents when they said that they taught their son to leave with whoever you came with. So for you to make the accusations that is a lie when they're burying their son on Monday is, quite frankly, to be disgusting, Officer Tatum.
Well,
and I'm ashamed.
You know what's funny? I hope that you're paying attention to this, because there's a lot of information that have come out, and I've gotten firsthand knowledge about some things that have happened on that island, and people are going to be ashamed of themselves for sitting here lying and pushing racism in this circumstance.
Well,
I don't know what happened, but I do know. I'll let you finish. I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just saying I got firsthand knowledge too. But as we're talking about right now, you made the accusation that there were lies, that that race has been interjected. Like I said last week, if people don't want people to speculate, then investigate. So this.
Well, that's true, Brandon. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that topic.
I don't like how Brandon Tatum always interrupts everyone speaking. It's really getting annoying. I've noticed this over several different videos of watching him, because if somebody says something, he just has to. The loudest in the room doesn't make you right, okay?
Because Ben Crump is notorious and has been criticized by people who have used him in the past for their cases of being an ambulance chaser, pushing a narrative that fits the racial lens that he wants it to. You've talked about this on your podcast and how you believe young black men are unfortunately killed every single day. And people like Ben Crump and Al Sharpton just highlight certain stories that benefit them rather than the families.
Well, let's keep it real. This is all about money. Benjamin Crump would never show up to a kid's funeral or say anything about a kid that's killed by another black kid. But if there's an opportunity to interject racism into a situation where there's no evidence of racism, Benjamin Crump will be there to do it. What is his end goal? He's not a criminal. He's not a criminal attorney.
You know, I don't think that Benjamin Crump is. I do think he's an ambulance chaser. I don't think that he's just showing up just because the kids are white. He's showing up because we know there's not a fact, but there's a high % chance that because these kids are white, things will be treated differently. And that's the important part. It's like, it's not that we think it's all racism. It's not always racism, but you have to get to the facts. And if these kids are white, sometimes if there is some sketchy behavior, it would be covered up because the kids are white. And that is why you have to have somebody like a Ben Crump. I don't like Ben Crump. I don't like the ambulance chase and stuff like that they do, but I understand you have to have those people in place, because if there was foul play, it would be overlooked because they are white. And I'm not saying that that's in every case. I'm just saying I just seen it. It's been happening over many of years. When you say black people are violent, black people do this, black people they be chimping out, black people this, but white people chimp out too. I'm not saying that that's what these boys did. I don't want to accuse these boys because I have no real idea of what happened. All I'm saying is you got to have these things in place. But Ben Crump is definitely an ambulance chaser.
So he's not going to help the family get justice on a criminal level. He's a civil rights attorney. You don't need a civil rights attorney in a case where you're wondering if the investigation is going right for your son, unless you believe this has something to do with racism.
Let him finish, and then I'll let you talk. Okay, let him finish his point, and then I'll let you respond.
He's going on a diatribe. So let's
no, he's not. He's speaking,
ahead,
and I'll let you respond as soon as he's done making his point.
Katie, I'll let the young lady go. Go ahead. I would love to hear what you got to say today.
Go right ahead.
Thank you, Officer Tatum. Thank you. Well, let's just once again, speaking about things that you don't know about. Katie, you set it up with talking about Ben Crump being notorious for race baiting. I could name a couple of things that Officer Tatum here is also notorious for. So let's be careful on how we
don't need these personal attacks.
I'm gonna finish my statement. I'm gonna finish my statement, and let me also correct you on something else, Mr. Tatum. When you said Ben Crump would never show up for a black kid that was murdered by a black kid, my cousin Jordan Turner, who was 19 and was murdered by another black kid that also went away with his friends and never returned home, guess who showed up? Attorney Benjamin Crump. I know you're looking confused. See, this is why it's important that you
was that related to black people? Was black people involved in his death?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, that's
and
one.
They were convicted.
We didn't hear about it plastered all over the media. That's a big difference.
See, this is why you don't know. This is why you should speak of what
they said, we didn't hear about it. That's the big difference. It don't matter. It happened though. I gotta get ghetto with y'all. I'm just playing. Let me settle down.
No, and not what you heard. So again, when it comes down to Nolan Wells, I ask that we use this time to ask people to come forward and speak about what they know. The young man did not come home, Brandon. He didn't come home. So let's use this time, instead of focusing on what people are saying in the comments, let's continue to stay in.
Brandon, I mean, Ben Crump is the one making this conversation in the media.
Damn, she was just like, hey, let the woman speak, and now she's cutting them off because she really making sense. Man, don't cut off. Shut up. I'm cutting off.
Comments. Let's continue to stay in.
Brandon, I mean, Ben Crump is the one making this conversation in the media. Ben Crump is the one making this conversation in the media. He's the one pushing this out there, so people do speculate ahead of the investigation, not letting it play out. But Brandon, I want to ask you this question. Teslin, 1 second. Brandon, there's been a lot of accusation and pushing that Nolan Wells' white friends have not been questioned enough, as if they were somehow responsible for his death based on race. that seems like a highly irresponsible narrative to be pushing, especially when we don't know all of the facts yet.
100%. It is a flat out lie. The police department isn't doing their investigation.
That's the media pushing that. Nobody has questioned whether they did it because of race. We questioned it because who was he with? Bro, if I'm with my friends, now let's be real. Let's be real. This ain't got shit to do with race. If I'm with my friends and if I come home without my friend, my mom will be like, "Where's so and so?" I don't know. I don't know. My mom will be like, "You're lying. You're lying. Where is he at?" I don't know. Go, man. If you leave your friend anywhere, I can understand you got a drunk friend. Everybody got a drunk friend that be like tripping out. You be like, you tell him, "Man, get in the car, get in the car." And he be like, "Man, I ain't getting in the car, I'm walking." It's 0 degrees outside. He's so drunk, he don't even know how cold it is outside. You like, "Man, I'm finna leave him." So you drive down the street and park at the store and wait on his drunk ass to walk to the store, and then he realizes it's cold as shit. Then he get in the car. That's okay. But no, it's really not okay. But I mean, you get what I'm saying. But you telling me you gonna leave your friend anywhere? You gonna on an island? You're gonna leave your friend? You're not. That's not how that works, bro. Find your friend. Hey man, everybody we came with, we leaving with. That's just a fact. Okay? I don't care if he went off with a girl. If we went off with a girl, I'm gonna lay eyes on my friend, or somebody's gonna lay eyes on him, and we're gonna know that he's all right. We're gonna know that he's all right. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that you just decide to leave your friend. That's not happening. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. I would never do that. But y'all do that. I don't know who does that. Who does that? Like, tell me. I'm like, you can tell me, everybody in the comment section. I'm just trying to figure out who does that. Who leaves their friend. I don't care if you Republican, Democrat, you hate niggas, you love niggas. I don't know. Whatever you do, would you leave your friend? Whether he's white, black, Mexican, Oriental, whatever. Would you leave your friend? I would never leave my friend. Ever, anywhere. I'm not leaving my friends. Especially on the island. That's crazy. That just makes no sense. So that's why you got people asking for information, because it makes no sense. If Benjamin Crump, Officer Tatum, if he went out with his friends, do you think he would want his friends to just leave without him? It don't make sense, because in his mind, his logic won't think like that. He won't say, "Oh man, my friend's gonna leave me there." But only thing he could say is, "Oh, this is not about race. It's not about race. It's about who the your friends is." And if your friends is gonna leave you here, why did your friends leave you? The only thing that makes it racial is that because the color of their skin. I'm not going to say because the color of their skin, because I don't want to make it seem like I really agree with but I'm saying because they're white, there could very well be an instance that people would just be like, it was an accident. Oh, well. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm not saying that's what they thinking. I'm just saying I've seen it. I've lived it. And I'm telling you, that's what's happening. People are excusing bullshit and not asking enough questions. That's it.
Fair and properly. Benjamin Crump cannot come out right now and say that the investigation isn't going like it should. They're interjecting race into something that has nothing to do with race. These boys were friends. The coach came out, who happened to be a black man, that said he don't believe race is a factor. These boys grew up together. These boys go to school together. This is a tragic situation, and they should leave it at what it is, and that's a tragedy. Let the investigation unfold. Benjamin Crump they're already out saying this has something to do with race because the boy was with white guys. That is asinine.
Just like you
that is
described
shameful. Just
like you describe it when you talk about black on black crime constantly. So what a black man, a young black boy went with his white friends and didn't come back. So why are you not asking the white children to speak up? Nobody saw nothing, Brandon.
They are speaking. They are speaking.
Where?
That he didn't come home.
All right, we gotta run.
White got to do anything.
We got to
run.
We hope that the family can get some answers because a young man is dead, and we want his family to have closure. Teslim Figaro and Brandon.
She don't want disclosure, or she don't want closure, or she don't want nothing, because we're not asking if they did it. We're asking why you didn't report it, why you left your friend, why didn't you check on your friend? How did your friend drown? How did your friend drown? Why didn't you check on your friend? It's not racist. It's not about race. But the thing is, they are white. So because they are white, they're being treated as they're innocent. And they could very well be innocent. But why did you not check on your friend who you came on the trip with? How did you leave your friend to drown? How did you leave your friend to die? I don't care how it comes out. I'm not calling these kids racist. These kids are not racist. That is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. But how did your friend die? That's it. Answer that question. That's to be the main question. And that's why I want to stop people from that's the same thing that happened with Carmelo Anthony. It wasn't about race. It was about one kid stepping to another, and the kid stabbed him. It wasn't about race. It was about why did you let this kid step to him? Why did this kid step to him? Why did it become such a physical altercation? Why did this man feel the need to stab this kid? Why did he feel endangered to stab you? Because it should have been self-defense, or it should have been a manslaughter, but unfortunately it's a murder. And it could have been a manslaughter, and he could have been out and ate, but that's a whole nother story. But the thing is, how could it get to this situation? That's the question we need to be asking. How? It's not, because none of it's been about race. Everybody who speaks about race on these is rape bait. That's why I say Benjamin Crump, he's a ambulance chaser for racism. Although she said he did some good in the black community, whatever, it doesn't matter. Don't get Benjamin Crump on this, or you're gonna lose. You're gonna have another Carmelo Anthony on the opposite way. You're gonna lose a kid, and nobody gets convicted of it. Not even convicted, like not even convicted. Because why? I don't want to lock kids up. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section.